Sonoma State Dynasty, Season 2, Episode 1. We are back, everyone. We have some fresh, new gameplay. If you watched all the deep dive episodes, I appreciate it. They took me longer to make than I planned, so I apologize for that. But we are back. Hope to be turning out the games at a more rapid pace. But let's get right into some business before we get into our opening week showdown, a rematch with Hawaii. And I talked about a little bit in one of the deep dive videos about how I'm not huge on revenge necessarily, more than I just feel we didn't give them our best game last time, and as a true competitor, we owe that to them. So looking forward to getting at it with them. But first and foremost, let's look at the preseason top 25. In the top 10, we have Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, Michigan, Kansas State, Miami, Syracuse, Ole Miss, USC, and Texas. In the top 25 overall, we have 15 Super 2 teams, 7 from the SEC, 8 from the Big Ten. In the Power 4, 3 Pac-12 teams, 1 Big 12 team, 3 American, 3 ACC, with Syracuse being the highest ranked Power 4 at number 7. And while no teams playing in a group of 4 conference this year start the season ranked, Texas State playing up in our conference, who we will play for our last game of the season, they start the season ranked. But looking at some preseason All-Americans, reigning Heisman winner Jalen Milroe highlights the first team with Amani Tolles from UC Santa Barbara in there as well. And look at Andrew Sprague, a redshirt freshman at Michigan, a first-team preseason All-American. It's strictly based off overall, which I hope they kind of tweak going in to the next version of the game and can kind of find a way to balance it with what players did the year previous. But still, interesting and cool to see a redshirt freshman on there. And then the only other player from our conference making the preseason All-American team is David Bailey of Stanford, second-team preseason All-American. We will see him in our third game of the year when we go to the farm to take on the Cardinal. In the preseason All-Pac-12, no one from our team makes the cut. We're going to hope to change that going forward. The Gauchos have Emil Singer, Amani Tolles, Trent McCabe as more weapon-type preseason first-team All-Pac-12 players, with John Turnbull at left guard. And on the defensive side, Javorius Lumpkin with John Trey Russell, the strong safety, on the first team. And then on the second team, they have Zane Dean, Jamelo Harris, and Raylan Galloway, so the outside linebackers. And then, of course, the anchor, the center on the offensive line, Zane Dean. Looking at the Heisman contenders going into the year, we got Jalen Milroe, of course, the reigning winner, like I mentioned. Mekhi Hughes out of Tulane, a 98 overall. Cade Klubnik, the quarterback at Clemson, a 94. Nico Iamaleava? Gosh, I really should know that. 94 overall at Tennessee. And then Caden Salter, who has transferred to Colorado in real life, but still at Liberty in this one, and a 93 overall, rounding out the preseason top 5 Heisman contenders. Looking at our team, our depth chart, going into the season, returning is Teron Barnes at quarterback, as well as Keontae Tyson at running back, Scott McLawler, the tight end, CJ Peaks, our wide receiver 1 this season, Javon Moore, wide receiver 2, new guys who were on the team. CJ Peaks got a bit of an emergence last year after the Demetrius Williamson injury, got a little more run and had some really nice games for us, but he will take on a much greater role, as will Javon Moore, who primarily served as our kick returner a season ago. And then, of course, our slot back position, Spencer Strickland, and I apologize if I didn't explain this well. A slot back is traditionally in a flex bone option style offense. We are not using like a true slot back. That's just how I'm describing our primary use of that role and what it does. We do kind of want a true mix of your old school Julian Edelman, kind of Wes Welker type slot receiver with someone who can also go into the backfield and be a little bit of a running back as well. But really what I want to highlight, because I mentioned a big reason I called our offense the Coryell Spread, is our use of the slot. I'm not saying it's because, oh, we put a slot receiver on the field. Every team, at every level of football does that to some degree pretty much. What I'm saying is we use that slot position and can vary our personnel at that spot. I kind of explained that with how we shift a little bit with Strickland in the slot and use him as a receiver and running back. But it could be us using Maverick Bentley as a second tight end. It can be us going to a true fullback in Jackson Gregory, or it could be us going to a third true receiver. LJ Young would then come into the picture, but it would most likely be CJ Peaks working out of the slot as a true slot receiver. So just wanted to note that. On the defense, interior, we got Deshaun Weeks and Joshua Townsend, Jordan Underwood at edge, Marquez Carty, our solid linebacker, Bubba Van Claiborne, the BBC pipe at monster, Jacquez Blanks at walk, Kai Riggins as our rover, Noah Collins, our cornerback 1, Jaden Bowie, cornerback 2, Nico Solomon, our high true free safety, and then flexing, sort of, we can go to we can add in a true nose guard, DJ Dean. We can add in another safety type in Josh LeBourne, or a true third corner in Terrell Pace. The strengths of our team: I love our depth at running back with Tyson and Strickland. The freshman Nolan Knight's going to get some go. He's got some really great just pure ability as a runner. So I think he's going to be a really good spell guy as our third running back, and I'm not going to redshirt him this year because I think we will use him enough. Our depth at corner I like. Our improvement at the top end at corner is so refreshing. And then, while we don't have a super deep top end talented D-line, I do like our depth and mix of ability to rotate and fit different techniques, and I think we're going to be able to match up really well on the line through our depth, which is something I talked about. Our weaknesses: we don't have top-end receiving talent on the outside. Like I talked about in our deep dive, play action is going to be big for us because of that, and we want to be very 50-50 because of that. Again, dominant interior presence on the defense. We don't have dominant top-end players. Deshaun Weeks is very good. 76 overall. I mean, not dominant, but solid. But beyond that, it's really going to be about depth and utilization of guys to maximize their skill sets. And then we have more high-end guys. So Noah Collins, our best corner, or our best player, actually, overall-wise, is the same as Chase Freeman, our highest... Oh, sorry, I dropped my notebook there. Is the same as our highest overall player a season ago, Chase Freeman. But we have more guys who are closer to our highest overall. So our second, third, fourth, fifth best players, and etc. are much better from an overall standpoint. On our recruiting board, our biggest needs is monster linebacker, left guard, and defensive tackle. Our three lowest priorities is our solid linebacker, or kind of middle linebacker number 2. That's tough to explain because in the 3-4, it'd be the guy who's our middle linebacker number 1. But if you're running a 4-3, it'd be your left outside linebacker. So I have to kind of get creative with that, and maybe that's something I can explain better at another time. But fullback and walk linebacker are our other 2 lower priorities. So the top end guys we're going after to start the year, we do have 1 5-star on there, Antoine Cobb in edge from DeSoto, Texas, number 5 player in the nation. Only 5-star we're not already locked out on to start the year. And then 4 stars, we got Rasheem Kublia, a corner, Alex Trapasso, a running back, Dalton Warren, a monster linebacker, Steven Brents, an interior lineman, similar to Deshaun Weeks, Caleb Carney, a receiver, Damian Garnes, a receiver, and Ryan Roche, more of a big run-blocking offensive tackle type. And this year, and this is why I say the recruiting restriction is meant to simulate reality a little closer, and I want to emphasize I don't think the game itself is necessarily made badly because we have less recruiting hours this year. So this season, I just don't think we have the resources, and even last year I probably overplayed our resources a little bit, but I don't think we have as much ability to add 4 and 5 stars to the board as we miss out on our initial guys. So that's when we'll start filling in more 2 and 3 stars. And I may even start going to something where, depending on how many 4 and 5 star guys we bring in, we have to get a certain amount of like 1 and 2 star players as well. That might be something I look into doing. But looking at Hawaii's roster, their pro style, so they had some sort of coaching change, no run and shoot, 75 overall. On the screen it says 77, but in the pregame menu you'll see their actual overall. They're 75 overall, 74 offense, 76 defense. So our big keys: defense, new playbook. Let's get comfortable running our base stuff. We should have good matchups in the run game. And because they still are a little more suited personnel-wise to run a more spread-out, pass-happy offense, we're going to be a little quicker to adjust to the pass game than the run game. On offense, we really want to go after the A-gaps, the interior out of our base personnel, our more two-wide looks. On offense, we want to go after true freshman Kyle Harris in 3 wide receiver looks versus sub personnel. Need to look out for help from 83 overall strong safety Peter Maynham, and we need to try to get Harris matched up on the opposite side as him. That'll be huge for our pass game, because then we'll actually have a true matchup that we have a very significant advantage in. Looking at our schedule real quick, we're opening at Hawaii. Our home opener will be our next video, week 2 versus Middle Tennessee, a CUSA team playing up in the ACC. Week 3, we open our conference play at Stanford, like I mentioned earlier. Then we have some road challenges at USC and Syracuse. We will host UC Santa Barbara, and I think that stretch of games will give us a real good tell of how accurate our sliders are when we take on better teams. So if we need to tweak anything, it'll most likely happen either during or after that group of games. Then we host Cal in week 11, so we get both of our kind of local FBS teams on the schedule this year. We go to Wyoming in week 13. I think that'll be fun. And then end the regular season hosting Texas State, who of course made the playoff a season ago. So last season I definitely tried to get our division within the conference to be filled with more of the either high-end, more marquee names within our conference, or the ones that were better in this actual past season of college football. Going forward, I'm not going to lean that way. I'm going to try to do it truly more balanced. All right, and then last but not least, before we get into gameplay, well, not last but not least, there's a few other things. But last section on my notes before we get into gameplay, Javion Foreman, he transferred to BYU. Scooter Page transferred to Kansas State to be like 9th and 8th or something on their depth charts, which, whatever. There's a lot of different tangents we could go on there. Realistic that they transferred, but weird that they would go there specifically. So I don't think we get any, after effects, I guess you would say, if they end up being really good. I don't think that benefits us, so I did bump up their overalls enough where they would hopefully at least appear on the field a little bit for those teams, and we'll check back and see how they do this season, just because I wanted them to get on the field. And then also, players who transfer, they don't get the off-season training, which I kind of agree with and kind of don't. So I tried to put their overalls at a spot that they would probably get to had they gone through the off-season training. So, looking at UCSB's roster real quick, we got quarterback Deshaun Wheeler. He replaces Caleb Nobles, who was a 4th-round draft pick, much more of a pocket guy. Emil Singer, who cooked us a year ago, he returns. They got Amani Tolles, an elite deep threat, 97 overall on the outside. Trent McCabe, a 96 at tight end. This is probably as good of a UCSB team that they will ever have through me truly beefing up their overalls. If they themselves accumulate this kind of talent, then, I'm not going to do anything about that. But this is definitely the highest I will probably edit them to. On the O-line, they got Marquise Harvey, John Turnbull, Zane Dean, Tyreek Sanders, and Jake Taylor, who is a person we went after in the transfer portal. On the defensive line, Malik Robinson, Matt Murray, Darius Lockett, Jeremiah Buckley, Joel Glass, Jalen Galloway, Jamello Harris, Javorius Lumpkin, Eric James Jr., Lionel Solomon, maybe related to Nico Solomon, who knows, John Trey Russell, and Jeremy Woolen. In week 0, a lot of close games, except the teams playing FCS, and UCSB did get their season underway with a win over Super 2 Big Ten team Kansas, probably one of the lower prestige ones. No disrespect. 38-10 in favor of the Gauchos. And in week 1, and I'm also going to do the scores for these games in this video after the highlights, so we know the results of the games played the same week that we are playing the game of the video. But in week 1, Louisville plays Oklahoma in Orlando, Kansas State and Florida State in Vegas, Eastern Michigan at Texas State, 2 teams playing up. Number 10, Texas goes to number 1, Ohio State, number 8, Ole Miss, and number 9, USC, and number 2, Georgia goes to UCLA. But here we go, finally ready to get back in action on the field against Hawaii. Excited to see if our defense can improve, if our offense can still be as potent while being more committed to the run game, we will say, and being physical. That's our biggest mark this year on offense. Can we be more physical and dominate the line of scrimmage a little bit, especially, with all due respect, against opponents of this caliber? Now, Hawaii beat us last year. I don't mean that in a bad way, but this should be a more level playing field for us. I don't think we had a single game last year where we truly were equal overall-wise. We were truly undermanned in every game. So, this year, let's see what we can do when we are mano-a-mano, so to speak. Hawaii, Sonoma State. Good to see the fellas back in action, and we are underway. Season 2, DeMarvin Holland back deep, taking the return, and we're starting the year cutting right in to tackles. There's Coach Callie Z, and there is TB5, the quarterback for the Seawolves. We all know him. And here is the offense, featuring a pair of freshmen on the right side of the offensive line. Miguel Weeks at right guard, Sua Chu at right tackle, and we are going to come in first play action, and we are going to hit CJ Peaks going across the field. Going to be interesting to see who emerges as our top targets on the perimeter this season. Javion Foreman, Scooter Page, of course, leaving for Kansas State, and BYU as Keontae Tyson takes it up the middle, and we're going to go no huddle and shift at the line of scrimmage here. Going to get our offensive line set up, and sometimes I throw in a little hot route on run plays. I don't know if it actually does anything, but in real life it'd be a dead giveaway if you're doing all these audibles and hot routes on passes, and on the run you're not. So I do try to do that. I don't know if it does anything, and it's just me being weird. But 3rd and 1, we're going to motion Scott McLawler, come out with play action. Probably could have hit him right out of his outbreak, but we're going to buy time, and it is Maverick Bentley, the number 2 tight end, with room to run all the way near the 10-yard line. Flag on the play as well, roughing the passer, and a huge play on 3rd down. So a couple of big throws off play action. I mentioned in our deep dive videos how important getting chunk plays off play action was going to be for us, because I just don't think we have the guys to consistently win one-on-one on the outside in the drop-back pass game. Going to go with the counter with Keontae Tyson. Showed that formation earlier and ran a split zone. That time we're going to run a counter, so you get the same action from the tight end, and then we also can get into that RPO slide out of there. Here, right in rhythm off the back foot, and it's inaccurate. Probably should have been picked, but we'll take the favor from the CPU, because that seems like a weird play for the throw to be inaccurate when you're in rhythm. And here, I hate how screenplay blocking is. The CJ Peaks 18 needs to just go right at that corner, which should be pretty routine in press, actually. Would have been hard for Suachu at right tackle to get out there, so I will admit that's still not a great look to run the screen against, but would have loved better execution there. But Matthew York, the punter who will be kicking field goals, sneaks it in, and we have our first points of the year as George Lincoln, our true kicker, he'll be kicking off. I'm kind of doing that just because in real life it's a lot for kickers to handle all the responsibilities. In the game, there's no real penalty for that, but again, just trying to add some nuggets of realism. But first play for the defense, and it is Terrell Pace with the tackle, and it was the freshman Josh LeBourne on special teams with a big hit on the kickoff, and that is Kobe Garland and Noah Collins. So a third down early. What can we do? And pressure is going to get home. That is another freshman, Kai Riggins, getting there on the blitz. Again, he's more of our strong safety on first and second down. Third down, obvious pass downs like that, 3rd and 11, we're going to move him into the box a little more, have him more as a blitzer and guy that's helping out a little more in the middle of the field instead of deep. But it was Scott McLawler getting his first big play of the season to open our next drive. And then off the no huddle, Barnes with the keeper, all trouble in open field. One man misses, 10-5, touchdown, Seawolves. A dream start. Kind of flailed out on the opening drive, can't lie. Settled for the field goal, but defense 3 plays and out, and TB5 with a huge play, his first big run of the season. And that's what I was talking about in the deep dive with the use of Spencer Strickland as our slot receiver, is we can come out in what would be a 3-wide formation, go no huddle, or, even if we don't want to go no huddle, we can shift based on the personnel, and it gives us a favorable look, and we take advantage there. We see the O-line do a great job. Look at Miguel Weeks and Suachu knocking them on the ground on the right side. This is what I mean when I try to slide my line to the right on the run. I don't think you can really slide the line on the run. It's just wishful thinking. I think it's only for pass pro. But there, beautiful blocking, beautiful execution, and DeMarcus Perkins, our left guard, goes down. I was really excited about him. This season, he shouldn't be out for long, but he will be MIA for a little bit, and we had to shift our coverage there after the motion. We did not have the ability to play what we wanted, and Jordan Underwood makes a play, but over the middle, Cade O'Donnell, I believe is his name, hits his man, but the freshman, Kai Riggins, with the interception. He can run deep, folks. He can come up and play around the line of scrimmage, and our big nose guard, DJ Dean, so kind of the 2 big guys on our team that I was super excited about, banged up in the opening quarter, so really challenging our depth on the line of scrimmage, but on a misdirection here, a little favorable animation perhaps for Keontae Tyson. Excited to see what he can do this season, and on a 3rd and 2, going to come out in the same formation we showed on that earlier 3rd and short, show a similar motion, this time bring McLawler back, run a read option. They defended pretty good, but TB5 to the outside is too fast, but a good hit from 29. But first down, Sonoma State, and here we are going to shift, bring across Javon Moore, get into an I formation with twins to the weak side. We're going to go with some play action here, and we do like to run bootlegs. We're going to do a misdirection bootleg kind of, and get a double move from Scotty Mack, the tight end, his second big catch, and already 100 yards in the air for Teron Barnes off just a few throws. We haven't necessarily been dropping back and slinging it, but we've been able to create those big plays primarily off play action like we've talked about. And we've shown this formation a couple times with the zone split and the counter. Same action from the tight end. We'll probably miss our slot receiver in the middle there. But on 3rd and 13, we're just going to dump it off to Spencer Strickland, and he is going to get us pretty close enough to go for it. On this 4th and 1, we're going to get into what you would call an overload formation, because we have all 5 of what you would call our true eligible receivers technically to the right, but maybe missing our left guard, DeMarcus Perkins, costs us right there. Hawaii stuffs us, and they get it going on the ground as we get in to the second quarter of action with a 10-0 lead. But so far, so good from the defense. Offense has moved the ball all 3 times we have had it, but we have left 11 points on the board, only 10 of a possible 21 accumulated. And that is Deshaun Weeks with the stuff and the hypnosis on the HB direct snap for a first down. And on the run here, that is Weeks again. Really love him in the middle. He is more of a wide technique defensive tackle. Can play what would be the left defensive end in the 3-4 in the game, or kind of that strong end, strong D tackle, however you want to label that. There's a few different ways you can do it. On the jet sweep, we set the edge, and that is Ali McCray, number 17, more of a pass rushing D tackle in making the play, but a nice job by Alexander Valentine, who moved from safety to linebacker in the offseason, of setting the edge. And on this play, he is going to get home with a sack. So showing off the versatility of Alexander Valentine at linebacker. He's not going to be a physical run stuffer, but as someone who can set the edge and get home on a blitz and cover well on third down, he's got a really nice skill set. And we roll out and get it to CJ Peaks. Only get 2. Again, run after catch maybe not going to be his strong suit, but Jackson Gregory, the fullback, gets the first down. Key block from Keontae Tyson. Getting that just in time. Going to motion CJ Peaks out of a wide split. Again, we talked about that a little in the deep dive where you have your receiver all the way out wide. We're going to motion him in closer and set up a little play action drive concept from LJ Young and our slot guy on the right, and hit CJ Peaks on a post, which normally wouldn't be open against a one-high safety defense like that, but the safety turned his hips, and we were able to hit him. And here we may have been able to hit Tanner Milam, but TB5 takes off, shows off the speed, gets down to the 1-yard line, and we have a first and goal. We are going to check in to a halfback sting right here, wide open. DeMarcus Perkins back in, the physicality on display, and Keontae Tyson in the end zone, and the Seawolves off to a fantastic start in Season 2, 17-0, and the defense going nowhere. Kai Riggins involved once again, and here on a third down, probably missed a shot down the field, potentially late. Could argue he got a little scared by the pressure. I don't know, it's a tough balance because lower-rated quarterbacks obviously should miss some more reads. Do they miss too many? We'll try to figure that out as it goes on. I have a couple different solutions in mind we can try out because I think that's really heavily tied to the difficulty. And the main reason I'm hesitant to move up to All-American is I just think I'll have to reconfigure the whole sliders. So I'd rather find tweaks where we can keep things as close to where they are and then just fix the little small things to make things as accurate as possible. Again, we'll keep an eye on if we need to change that, but right there, CJ Peaks, third catch of this first half, and it takes us down inside the 5-yard line. I think comeback routes are going to be a huge part of his game. We shift into a counter here, and Tyson, again in the end zone, firing the bow. I promise I'll get some more and different celebrations in there. I've never looked at how you do them, so I kind of just spam the right stick, and long story short, that only gets you 4 different celebrations. So I will start doing the other things you need to do to get more celebrations. But here, dialing up a whole concept on a 2-point conversion, trying to get it to a 4-score game here in the first half, trying to get it to Tanner Milam, that most inside receiver on the left, to the flat. If we calm down, we have Javon Moore wide open, the X receiver. But once our first read was open, I can't lie, I got a little scared, and I just threw it over the middle to Y, and it probably could have / should have been intercepted. But they're going to challenge Jaden Bowie deep, and he is all over it. He is such a great athlete, and they go after him again. And if you fail once, if you fail twice, why not go for it a third time? 3 straight shots down the field, a shutout in the first half for this Seawolf defense. Again, the worst defense in the country a season ago. This offense, not too bad itself, 301 yards in the first half, and we are all over it underneath this defense, looking for no let-up in the second half. And right here, pressure home on the release, and we get the ball back. I can't help but smile. It's fun watching this defense have such a great game after having such a challenging season a year ago. but this is going to be Javon Moore on the comeback route for a first down. Another bootleg. We ran that. I don't know if it's out of the same formation, but essentially same concept. First play of the game had Javon Moore run a deep corner, that time on the comeback, and that is the first career carry for true freshman Nolan Knight out of Kernersville, North Carolina, and it is refreshing to see some speed around the edge as Knight gets to show off his skill set a little bit here, hoping to keep him fairly involved in the offense. And the look that haunted us versus Boise State, I will say there they genuinely did a little bit of a better job on the timing, but again, our second tight end gets wide open, and I think we definitely had the window to get that throw off. But Matthew York on the field goal, and it is a 4-score game midway through the third, and the BVC pipe, Bubba Van Claiborne, filling the hole right there, and some shades to last year there. 3 missed tackles, and then the newcomer Kai Riggins finally takes him down. Pressure home there. This is a great example of a sim pressure. We have both our ends drop off, bring our linebacker and corner from that left side, and it just makes it a little harder for the defense, or the offensive line, to get set. And Noah Collins is going to get a pick six. Sorry, my commentary is delayed there as I break down the sim pressure, but Noah Collins with a pick last year against Hawaii and a pick six this year against the Rainbow Warriors, or maybe they're just the Warriors now, I don't know technically, but Josh LeBourne with his second big hit on special teams. So many freshmen getting a chance to display what they can do in this season opening game, and this defense continues to impress. And here, all kinds of heat, the BVC pipe all over it. Look how downhill we're getting, unblocked through the A-gap. Had another guy unblocked in Noah Collins coming in as well. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful execution. Had to watch it a few times here. And on this one, I just don't know what went on, but something wrong with the recording. It would be Alexander Valentine actually getting home for his second sack of the game, and that would end the third quarter, 33-0. Offense did not have to do much in that third quarter, and we still add, 10 points to the scoreboard. Beautiful to see. David DePaul in at quarterback now. He finds A.J. Varner on the outside, and on here, I kind of zoned out, had reservations in the end zone in my head. 51-79, the bid for more playing time, a sour one on this occasion, but that is all right. We will keep working and getting better. And if you had David DePaul to Teron Grant as the first touchdown pass of the season on some sort of Rabbit Hole sportsbook, you are a very rich man. 14-32, the Seawolves adding on in what has been a very impressive season opener, and the defense is not done. And Nolan Knight getting another little bit of action here in garbage time. Here, probably should have just thrown to X. Really bad play overall. Receiver runs his route like 12 yards deeper than he should. Bad read by me at quarterback. All bad. But that is Noah Forsyth getting home from the interior. 4 sacks today from 3 different guys. Van Claiborne, Valentine, and Forsyth. Hawaii with the screen, taking them down. That would be the last significant snap of the game, if you even want to call it that. 40-0. All Noma Nation in Week 1, Game 1, Season 2. Clap it up, fellas. Let's go get turned in the locker room, back in Roeder Park. Party of trade wins, everybody. Let's go. 424 yards of total offense to 141 from Hawaii. And Cade McConnell, 14 of 31, $120, no tugs, 2 picks. Would have taken him essentially 5 or 6 games to do what Braden Schrager did against us in the opener a season ago. What a brilliant display for the Sonoma State defense. Juan Proctor, Hawaii freshman punter, goes off 309 yards in his debut. Beautiful for him and beautiful for us. Teron Barnes, not his most eye-popping numbers, but man, probably the best game we have had in terms of complete team play, and him being a huge part of it, but not being, or not needing to be, everything is the way to put that. We see Alexander Valentine, the 2 sacks, picks from Kai Riggins, and Noah Collins. A beautiful day to be a Sonoma State Seawolf. Also a great day to be an Oklahoma Sooner. They win 42-34 over Louisville. It is Kansas State in a nail-biter, 31-29 over the Seminoles. They've really fallen off after a great start to the first year in the dynasty. Texas State matches our effort and humiliates Eastern Michigan 40-0. Ohio State with a win that looks very similar to the one they had in real life over Texas, 35-24. USC continues to be a very solid team in this dynasty, and we will see them for our 5th game, 31-19 over Ole Miss, and UCLA keeps it close, but falls to Georgia, 31-25. But it was awesome getting back into some gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed. Great win for us, for our team. We're all in it together, folks. Next week, home opener in front of the Ropo faithful against Middle Tennessee. Thanks for tuning in.